Hola, everyone. Welcome back to the live podcast. I'm your host, Dr. C. I want to talk about something that I had to navigate recently in my own life, ending a long-standing friendship. Out of nowhere, I realized this person had constructed an entire narrative about me in their head. They assumed the absolute worst, and they never talked to me about it until I brought up the conversation. So after years of history, that was it for me, right? That was the line. So I brought the facts, laid out the truth, debunked every single false narrative that this person had created. But as soon as the facts were on the table, the energy shifted. Suddenly it became, well, I'm going through a lot. I have issues. They wanted sympathy instead of taking real accountability. That was a huge red flag. I made sure that they knew exactly where I stood and why. See, walking away from that situation reminded me of a lesson I had learned the hard way years ago. Forgiveness gives you peace. It does not give someone their old seat back. It does not give them access to you in the same way again. Releasing your anger doesn't delete the data, right? So, me releasing my anger, bitterness, resentment still doesn't take away the fact that I saw you. It doesn't mean you ignore what their actions revealed. In my coaching sessions, when people tell me that they're upset because someone cut them off after they refuse to, own their mistakes, I tell them point blank, consider the loss of that relationship your wake up call. Take accountability, learn the lesson, do the work, change before you lose more people who matter. So, today, let's talk about why you can forgive someone completely and still keep the door locked. For a long time, a lot of us were taught that forgiving someone means going right back to business as usual. But doing the work means unlearning that you do not have to create access again for that person. So we need to unlearn that, right? Look at the research, right? So studies by Dr. Enright or Dr. Luskin out at Stanford show us that forgiveness is an internal process. Letting go of resentment calms your nervous system, drops your cortisol, and gives you back your brain space. Notice what that process doesn't require: condoning bad behavior and reopening your life to toxic dynamics. Psychologists actually break this down in two parts. This decisional forgiveness, choosing not to seek revenge, and emotional forgiveness, letting go of the bitterness. Neither one requires you to tolerate a lack of accountability. See, forgiveness unburdens your heart. Boundaries protects your future. When you actually have done the work, the personal work, setting boundaries doesn't feel like a fight anymore. It just feels like alignment. That's where the life framework comes in. Learn, inspire, flourish, and evolve. So let's learn, right? We analyze the data. When someone assumes the worst of you and uses their insecurity to dodge responsibility, pay attention. Separate the emotional disappointment from the information. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Use it to evaluate their actual capacity for the relationship. Not everyone is capable of healthy relationship dynamics. Inspire. Model self respect. You don't need a confession to validate your decision to step back. A boundary isn't an argument or a punishment to force them to change, it's clarity. State where you stand, hold your ground, and move on. Flourishing means protecting your space, protecting your environment, right? Environmental wellness is real. So, proximity without genuine change is just an invitation to get hurt again. When someone wants access without accountability, hold the line. Protecting your peace means being intentional about who gets a seat at your table. And finally, evolve. Keep the clarity. You can wish someone well, you could pray for their healing, and still decide they don't belong in your daily life. The end of that connection, it's like that's the job, right? Let the connection end. Serve, let it serve as a lesson for them to do better next time. And a reminder for you is to protect your peace at all costs. If you're listening to this today and trying to navigate a broken dynamic or a breach of trust, hear me on this. You can wish them the best and still keep the door locked. Forgiveness clears your heart. Boundary guards your energy. Thanks for tuning into the Life Podcast. If someone in your life needs permission to choose clarity over toxic proximity, pass this episode along to them. And until next time, keep learning, stay inspired, continue to flourish, and keep evolving. I'm Dr. C. Take care of yourselves.